Hello, hello, hello. Um, Let me get to trying to. What is this? What is that? Okay. Let's make sure that you can hear me. Let me get to. Yeah, you can hear me. Okay, my tea water is whistling. It's going to. Where the heck is my? You know, they did something to the back area of YouTube that we see as creators, and I can't stand it, and I wish I could get it back to what it was because I can't even see. Okay, now there. Hi, Jen. All right, maybe that's okay. Let me go there. I don't know why they have to. YouTube spends so much time fixing things that are not broken, and it's ridiculous. Okay, so tonight we have lots to discuss. We have a lot in the Rob Reiner, Michele Reiner murders to discuss. There's a lot that's happened there. The hotel, the Hampton Inn. Hi, Lisa Damron. I haven't seen you in ages. How are you? I haven't seen you in ages, and I haven't seen our Kathleen cheerleader, and I haven't seen Bubbly Red, who used to be, I think, Karen, and then they changed the name. I haven't seen my Criminy. I haven't seen a lot of my Kenzie people. And I'm surprised. But then I've seen like High Speed Drifter, who I haven't seen in months, came in. Doors of Perception. And welcome, welcome. Who is that? Oh my gosh, Prime Objective. I got to tell you a funny story. Let me get my tea kettle. I have to tell you a funny story. Jen, remember when I said Tico? That's Tico. Your ears must be burning, right? You saw me on Instagram or something, like something of yours? I'll tell you a funny story in a minute. Is that your daughter that was in that, is that your daughter that was in that horse and carriage? Because we were in Zoom, and we were watching some of those silly AI videos, right? Where a lot of the little kids go flying out of stuff, and the grandmothers go rolling down in the tires and all that, right? So we were watching that, and then I went back to my feed, and I go, oh, look at this one. I wonder what's going to happen to this kid. Something's going to happen because I've seen like a few of those today, and either the horse craps on them or, and then I'm like, oh, that's nothing. And then I looked and I said, oh my gosh, that's Tico. And Jen said, Tico? And I said, yeah, that reminds me. I haven't seen him in a while. So isn't that funny? But yeah, yours was not an AI. It was a regular video. Very cute. Okay. So that was funny, yeah. Because it really looked like it started out looking like another AI video because I had seen a few like that today with the horses doing all kinds of weird stuff. And I don't know what is going on with my shadow there. No AI, right. Yeah, lots of AI though. Okay, so the Rob Reiner, Michele Reiner. So here's the new stuff. See, it's a little confusing because there was that fight at Conan O'Brien's, right? And then Rob and Michele left, but it wasn't, oh, hi there, Gia. Hi, Gia. Ethan and I are going out tomorrow. Just so you know, we're going out tomorrow. So apparently he checked in at like 3:30 in the morning or so. Oh yes, the Brown University, of course. That's crazy, Tico. That is just crazy. But so here's my, did he murder them at 3:30 in the morning and then check back like before that and go back into the hotel? Hi, MSL. Is that what happened? And then the bathtub, the shower bathtub, was full of blood. And the sheets were over the windows. And I guess the housekeeping staff found that, a little bit troublesome. So they alerted. It's a little bit unclear. So, like, they said that he checked in, but he didn't check out. It sounds like the Roach Motel. You check in and you don't check out. But it's unclear, like, exactly when things are going to go into place. Now, he was supposed to be arraigned today. And you know that this is another thing I don't understand. When you're thinking about why he might have killed his parents, you might think with his addiction it was something about money, right? That he wanted money, he wasn't getting money. We've seen Grant Amato when he couldn't get the money for the what do they call her, cam girl, right? He killed everybody, his mother, father, brother. So you think, okay, it's about money. They're telling him, that's it, you're done, you're finished. Okay, we're done with this. If they're giving him everything, catering to him, why is he going to have a problem and do something like that if they're his lifeline? Here's the thing I don't understand. It says he hired Alan Jackson, not the country singer. He could have hired him, but for something else, but not to be his lawyer. Alan Jackson's not a lawyer. But Alan Jackson is a lawyer. The other Alan Jackson, not the singer, the one that took Karen Reed's case, the one that took that case of that kid, right, that was driving on the Palisade, the Pacific Coast Highway, killed the sorority sisters, right? He's that lawyer. He's his lawyer too. Well, they say that Nick. Hi, Margaret. And you know what? Speaking of Margaret, that just reminds me of Maureen. Maureen, who won that Bible from us. Why am I spazzing on her last name? Maureen, yeah, I'm thinking of you too. Anyway. I was just reading what somebody's writing. I just wonder, where does he have the money? Did he have this money? Because if he has money to hire Alan Jackson, who I'm sure his rate is pretty steep, okay. Most of the time when you hear about these things and things go like this, and the kid kills the parents, or the kid kills the grandmother, or the kid kills the grandfather, it's usually about they're not getting money, especially if they're in active addiction, right? Because they're looking for drugs. Obviously, he has more than addiction. He's got mental illness, which, of course, addiction is a form of mental illness. So, yeah. But different things happening, probably. He was acting crazy at the party. He wore a hoodie to the party at Conan O'Brien's. He was asking other people if they were famous. He was putting those people on edge. His behavior was a bit bizarre. Okay, hi, Twisted. So yet he has money to hire this lawyer. I just find it weird. Does anybody find it weird? Okay, so anyway, he's hired Alan Jackson to represent him. Now, Alan Jackson said that the reason they didn't have the arraignment today is because he hasn't been cleared medically, which he tried to say is no big deal. That this is, everybody goes through this, and that's just the way it is, and it's fine. It's fine. She's going to be medically cleared, and then he'll be arraigned. And he's been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. And then he's got another charge with a knife. Okay, so blood in the hotel room. He was found later. The sister, Romy, when she called, she had said that she thought he did this and that he could be dangerous. They really don't mention the other son that I've heard yet. A lot of people have been watching old interviews saying he was entitled, a spoiled brat, that the parents just gave everything to him. He was in a guest house and he was destroying the guest house, and then he was thrown out of the guest house, made to go into a rehab, and all of that. So symptoms of drug withdrawals are irritability, anger, agitation. Yeah, but why would he kill the parents if they were, in a sense, enabling him? Something's weird. Unless they said, you really embarrassed us at Conan O'Brien's house. Well, even when he's had this huge fight with the father, we don't understand what it's about because no one's putting that out there yet. But let's say it was that Rob Reiner was really embarrassed. And let's just say he said something like, "That's it, we're cutting you off from everything. Tomorrow morning we're cutting you off." Or Monday morning. Cutting you off. You're out of the will. You're out of everything. Could be something like that. But up to this point, obviously, he has money. Now, they had a huge house in Brentwood. Anything you could ever want, anything that money could buy, they had. He apparently was either living with them or staying with them. So, yeah, let's see what else. I'm just going to check out the latest updates. Hold on a sec. I'm slipping down in my chair. Okay. Let's see what the latest. Latest updates. All right, so he's been charged with first-degree murder, 2 counts. So what we got here? This was the house. And you can't even see how big it is, okay, because it's all the way over here too, and the pool is over here, okay? So that's not even a good photo of that. Again, if you're just following this, Romy Reiner, the youngest child of Rob and Michele Reiner, is the one that discovered her parents' bodies. Now, she discovered her father's body on Sunday after being alerted by a massage therapist who had been unable to reach the couple before a scheduled appointment at their Los Angeles home. So a person that was close to the Reiner family provided one of the first detailed descriptions of the tragedy from the family's perspective. The person said that the immediate family was not yet ready to speak, but that Romy Reiner fled the home without realizing that her mother was also dead inside. So she just found her father, okay, after being alerted by the massage therapist, right? She just ran out of the home when she saw that. And Nathan Hochman, the Los Angeles County District Attorney, is the one that announced the charges on Nick Reiner. And he said said that cases involving family members were some of the most challenging and heart-wrenching cases their office faces. Hochman said the prosecutors would request that the murder charges be considered under special circumstances, in part because there were multiple murders, meaning that the maximum sentence could be the death penalty or life in prison without parole. Nick did not appear in court on Tuesday because he was not medically cleared to be transferred to the courthouse from the jail. That's his lawyer, Alan Jackson, saying this: the screening is a requirement to ensure that detainees do not need medical treatment, and Nick, once medically clear, will be brought to the court for arraignment. At that time, he will enter a plea. Let's see. And because special circumstances were added to the charges, he could face the death penalty, even though I believe there's a moratorium on it. Let's see here. The massage therapist arrived at the home for the appointment. She got no answer at the gate. And she called the couple's daughter, Romy, who quickly came by with a roommate. She walked in, found her father's body, and fled the home. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, asked by a reporter if the Reiners died on Saturday or Sunday, Chief Jim McDonnell said the coroner was still trying to determine the exact time of death. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Charges are not evidence, Hochman said. Evidence is something we will be presenting in a court of law to meet the standard of proof we meet at every criminal case, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. He cautioned the public against rumors and hearsay, and there's a good chance you're hearing misinformation, he said. Okay. Just want to get to... Let's see here. The lawyer representing Nick Reiner emerged from a fifth-floor courtroom in Los Angeles on Tuesday. Journalists gathered there, and they recognized him as one of the city's most well-known criminal defense attorneys. That lawyer, Alan Jackson, has represented the Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein, the actor Kevin Spacey, along with Karen Reed. Okay, now, let me see what else we got here. So Nick, let's see. So he did not appear at his court. And he has to, as soon as he gets his medical clearance, then he'll be arraigned and enter a plea. Again, a lot of people have been buzzing about the former interviews with Nick and his father about that screenplay and movie, Charlie something that was made. Let's see here now. I'm going to go into the blood. Let me go with the blood there in the hotel. Okay. So, here's another picture of Nick. And I noticed now, like before we saw these very nerdy-ish pictures of Nick, and those were like from 2016. We didn't see a lot of recent pictures of him. And now that we're seeing like more recent pictures, he has this scowl on most of the time. But you can see in these latter pictures that he resembles Rob Reiner more than when he had that nerdy glasses kind of look, right? Why is this not going over? Go over there. I don't know why that's not going all the way over there. Come on. There we go. Okay, so here's what happened. When the staff came into their room on, let me see when he checked in. Nick checked into the Pierside Santa Monica around 4 a.m. Did I say Hampton Inn? You see, I'm getting the two cases mixed up. I'm so very sorry. Hampton Inn was the other suspect, and see, there's just too many things going on at once. Not Hampton Inn. So very sorry. He was at the Pierside Santa Monica. Do I have to end the whole live and do it over again because I made a mistake? No, because I'm correcting it right now. He was not in the Hampton Inn. He was in the Pierside Santa Monica, and he checked in there at 4 a.m. on Sunday using his credit card. His check-in came hours after he got into a heated argument with his father at Conan O'Brien's Christmas party. Eyewitnesses who saw Nick check in say he seemed tweaked out, but there were no visible signs that he had been in a violent confrontation. Definitely no blood stains or cuts on his body. The reservation was made for just one day, but he never formally checked out. Again, like the Roach Motel. When the staff came in the room later Sunday morning, they found the shower full of blood. They found blood on the bed, and the window in the room was covered by bed sheets. LAPD robbery homicide detectives went to the hotel to gather evidence and interview employees. Nick was eventually tracked down and arrested 20 miles away in Exposition Park near downtown Los Angeles. Here is a picture of when they were arresting him. Okay. There we go. Right there. Okay, and we have some more information. Bill Hader, you remember Bill Hader from Saturday Night Live? We are going to have some more information about what happened with him and Nick Reiner at the holiday party at Conan O'Brien's house. Nick was acting very strange at that party. He was not interacting with guests. His attire was out of place. It was a pretty ritzy event. Nick was rolling around in a hooded sweatshirt and seemed high on something, according to people there that were talking about this. But now we're going to talk about Bill Hader. Okay, so Nick allegedly interrupted comedian Bill Hader mid-conversation during the holiday gathering. Hader told Nick the conversation was private, and then Nick then slipped into a 1,000-yard stare before storming off. So he interrupted the comedian mid-conversation. Hader told Nick the conversation was private, and Nick then slipped into a 1,000-yard stare before storming off. Nick got into a loud shouting match with his father at the same event. Rob and Michele were struggling with how to deal with Nick as he continued to battle mental health issues and alleged substance abuse. Rob reportedly brought Nick to the party to keep an eye on him. Hours after the party on Sunday afternoon, Rob and Michele's daughter Romy discovered their stabbed bodies. That's not true. She only discovered the father. And then she ran out. Rigor mortis had already set in, meaning they had been dead for hours. So it sounds like he probably killed them before he checked into that hotel. Romy is the one who called the police and told them her brother Nick, who'd been living at the house, was dangerous and should be considered a suspect. About 6 hours later, Nick was located and arrested on suspicion of murder. He's currently being held on suicide watch at Men's Central Jail in LA without bail. Media outlets have reached out to Bill Hader, but Bill Hader has not said anything back. Okay, and I think let's go back to the chat just to see what you guys are saying. Okay, hi Bucky. Let's see. I want to get back here to see what you guys are saying. Margaret said, yeah, when I saw that today, I thought that was crazy. He hired him. Yeah, Alan Jackson, right? You were thinking the same thing. You're allowed, Carolyn. Thanks, MSL. Okay, so hi, Linda Uribe. Okay, now are we ready to anything else? Anybody want anything else? Rob Reiner right now. Anybody else? We're going to go on to Brown University. Now, I have to tell you, they said they released a much clearer picture. People were like, is this a joke? Kind of thing. It really is quite unnerving, unsettling, unbelievable. Okay, they're going to be entering day 5 of Manhunt. Okay. So we're getting, they're releasing these little pictures in dribs and drabs, but they really aren't clear, or they're just ridiculous. Okay, so what'd you say? Okay, let me get, I'm trying to get this picture here that I have on the thumbnail. Okay. Let's take a look at the these new images. Okay, guys. Okay, these new images right here. All right, let's take a look at just how much better they are, you know? Trying to make this one a little larger before I pull it over there. It's ridiculous. Now, this person here looks old. This person here looks really old. Again, got it. Let me see here. But it could be anybody. You know what I mean? It's just, it's ridiculous. All right, so let us go into what they're saying today. All right. Investigators searching for the gunman who opened fire in the Brown University lecture hall have released new footage of a person they believe may be linked to the attack. Now, it's 4 days after that gunman killed 2 people and injured 9 others. He still hasn't been identified, and the community is more than on edge, right? So the enhanced footage, if you call it enhanced footage, it just seems like it makes it more blurry and harder to see. I really don't call that enhanced. Person dressed in a two-tone jacket, walking near the university 2 hours before the attack took place, and was recorded on CCTV. Officials are appealing for patience. Please have patience as the investigation proceeds, and have asked local residents to check their security cameras to see if they have any footage of the suspicious person of interest. Footage of a person that appeared to be stitched together from home security cameras was shown to the media during a news briefing on Tuesday. In it, the man walks around the campus with a black mask covering his mouth and nose and a black hat on his head. The police chief, Oscar Perez, said the video shows the person casing the area before the crime. That's something criminals do, he said. This is so crazy. They're like talking to a kindergarten class. He also asked the public to check for anything familiar in the footage, including the way the individual walked and any important features, and for residents in the area where the videos were taken to check if they have their own footage. Yes, please look at his features. See how well you can see his features. Could be a woman for all we know. In one image released by investigators, the man had a black bag slung across his chest, but it didn't appear in other footage. Exactly. And didn't he have gloves on in one and not on the other? Yeah. The Attorney General, Peter Naronha, said that the investigation is going well. It's going well, guys. Yeah. And the detectives were working to uncover evidence. Rhode Islanders should take confidence in their work. Yes, guys. They are veterans in what they do. We just need a little bit of patience. Investigators also say the attacker was not filmed by any cameras inside the building where the attack occurred, a lecture hall where students were reviewing an exam. Okay, what about walking up to that building? What about leaving that building? What about on the campus? What about leaving the campus? What about a parking lot? What about all of the other places where he was? He didn't have any cameras there either. Officials have not commented on any suspected motive or whether any of those killed and injured were deliberate targets. Meanwhile, police have dramatically increased their visible presence at the Ivy League campus and in the surrounding community. Officials say there's no credible, actionable, specific threat that has occurred there since Saturday. Well, that wasn't a threat on Saturday. That was a shooting. And oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. Mayor Brett Smiley said the stepped-up law enforcement efforts throughout the city are a precaution and just about making people feel safe. Fourth day of the manhunt ends without a suspect. So let's go to the live updates. All right. Authorities hunting for the person of interest. Ask people to pay very close attention to body movements, posture, gait, and other patterns to help identify the person of interest. Hundreds of tips, DNA swabs, and a new video. That's what's happened on day 4 of the Brown University manhunt. As tips came in, they were triaged based on how valuable the information and how detailed they were. Anything that looked like it might yield a viable suspect went to the top of the pile. Detectives weighed how to approach certain potential suspects who emerged from tips and other leads. Alibis, let's see here what we got. Investigative strategy discussions dictated who might be put under surveillance, who might be brought in for a conversation, or who might be interviewed where they were located. Alibis were to be established and checked, and buccal swabs were taken from those willing to supply DNA. The collection of DNA samples may suggest investigators believe they recovered DNA at the scene, perhaps from an item thought to be discarded by the suspect or something they touched. They would also suggest that the DNA is not in the National DNA Criminal Database, CODIS, or investigators would have already established the shooter's identity. Okay, now here's the more public-facing developments involve video. The FBI worked up some materials for the investigative team, including an enhanced still picture of a person of interest walking down the street and a video timeline, complete with maps to display his walking route and where each image was captured. The latter was later taken down by the FBI to protect the information about what address cooperated by supplying video to the authorities, the sources said, and replaced with a new video that followed the person's walking trail through Providence with close-up video playing in a box to the side of the wide shot. This was meant not just to help investigators establish the person of interest route, but also to generate better, more telling images in hopes a member of the public would recognize them. The fact that nearly every image that was probative was recovered by cameras that were off campus drew questions from reporters about why none were recovered from the Barris Holly Engineering Building on campus where the shooting unfolded. Yay, right? Investigators told reporters that video was recovered from multiple cameras in the building that showed students running and the chaos during and after the shooting, but the person of interest appeared to have traveled through an older part of the structure where there was little or no camera coverage. Well, that would prove that he is either an incredibly lucky person or he knew that building inside and out. Could he even be a member of the faculty? Who knows? Could he be somebody that worked there in some capacity? Maintenance, groundskeeping. I don't know. Once again, it raised questions. Was the shooter lucky, or were they already familiar with they said exactly what I said, target location, right? One victim is still in critical condition. One shooting victim remains in critical condition. 2 have been discharged from the hospital, and 6 others are in various stable conditions. The hospital announced today. Authorities say there is no evidence that Ella Cook, the female that was fatally shot on Saturday, was targeted. Mohammed Aziz has been identified as the other student that was killed. Anxieties are high. Students are eager to get home to safety and security after Saturday's attack, with many people in Providence still feeling quite shook up. The university has reiterated its commitment to community well-being, as Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee said he'll form working groups to discuss safety and mental health. Okay, so Brown University says it has seen harmful doxing activity towards at least one person at the Ivy League school. And dangerous speculation swirling online about who the shooter might be. Rhode Island Attorney General issued a similar warning about jumping to conclusions, and that being a really dangerous road to go down. If the name meant anything to this investigation, we would be out looking for that person. We would let you know we were looking for that person. I don't even know who they're talking about, but okay. Video evidence of the suspect is limited by the university's unique location. They have a unique location. Brown is different than maybe some universities in that it is very much integrated with a residential neighborhood. This building is literally on the edge of the campus, and the person of interest walked out the door, and as soon as they stepped on the sidewalk, they were no longer on the campus. The school's network of cameras couldn't follow the suspect into the surrounding neighborhood. It's part of the reason we kept asking the community's help so much. This sounds like, come on, it's the community's fault. This is why we're asking you because of this. Why don't you have this footage that we need? What's wrong with you people? Come on, this is ridiculous. You would think they would have even more cameras if they didn't have a big entrance onto the campus that anybody could just go in from the street and back out on the street, that they would have more security. That's not, who's ever trying to run this defense is not doing too good. The path we're following for this person of interest is actually off campus, the mayor added. And then it's just the fault of those people not having cameras. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there is no apparent connection between Saturday's mass shooting at Brown University and the shooting Monday of a professor at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Nuno Loureiro, 47, died at a hospital in Brookline, Massachusetts on Tuesday morning after being shot at his home the night before. He was the director of the university's Plasma Science and Fusion Center, as well as a professor in departments for nuclear science and engineering and physics. At this time, there seems to be no connection, says the FBI special agent Ted Docks. And I know you think that's like doxing. No, it's like docks, like boat docks. Okay. He responded when asked if there's any connection. The police chief of police, Oscar Perez Jr., said, "Not that we know of." Well, did they get the shooter there? Police are still interviewing students. Brown University has 2 security systems that can be activated in an emergency, the Brown University president said. "We have 2 security systems that we can activate in a time of an emergency. One is a system that sends out the text messages, phone calls, emails, and it was activated within minutes of the incident. These messages went out to 20,000 individuals. Did they go out to the campus police? Because what was going on there? And why couldn't you get, if you could do that, why couldn't you get some cameras going? The other is an alert system. It's a siren system. So there's no camera system. Okay. Sirens and emails. There are 3 sirens placed across the campus. They get activated when there is a broad-scale emergency and we want people to rush into buildings. It had, the building where this took place had fewer, if any, cameras, Attorney General says. There is no footage that depicts the individual that would be useful in identifying him that we have not released to you. I think you can tell from, frankly, the not very helpful quality of the initial footage that our standard is pretty low. Okay, now here's another. There's gloves on in that picture, and that almost looks like even a different jacket. That's very strange. But they have not yet said why this person, appears to be a suspect? Is it just because they're walking there? Is that the only reason? Is the only reason that this is the only person that these cameras picked up? Like, what's the deal? I mean, literally, okay. Hold on a minute. Okay, I just want to show you something. Here's another photo, okay? This is not of a person of interest. These are just some people in and around the university. Now, do you know what I mean? Why is that other person really, what is making that other person to them being a person of interest? Because apparently there's a lot of people kind of dressed kind of like that. Is it just because they were the only person shown there before the shooting? I don't know. They have not said what leads them to believe that. Because these three people are not persons of interest. They are not. But I'm just trying to say, hold on. So weird. So weird. I'm trying to get back to your chat. Trying to get back to your chat. See what's going on. You said that, hi, B Lady April, how are you? I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you doing? B Lady April. I always think you're this lady that my sister knew that lives in the area by me and has bees, but you're not in New York State, right? We just met through here, but I don't know why I always think you're this friend of my sister's that has bees, like in the Hudson Valley. But that's not you, right? But I always put you with her. Hey there, look at that, Bucky Ann. Hey, we've met our. How come I don't get those little music things? How come I don't get the music? And it tells me I don't understand why the music doesn't play. All year it played the Christmas carols. Well, now that it played the Christmas carols, it's not playing them. Thanks for all you do, Carolyn. Thank you very much, Bucky Ann. And then MSL, you are awesomeness. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate you guys. Two towards our goal, 3 more to meet our goal. Thank you very much. Or he could be the father of a student who was tossed out for something. Yeah, could be Lady Avery. Um, let me see here. Hello, Mommy. I'm usually lurking. I'm listening, but love your lives. I would love... Oh, hold on a minute. Let me make this a little larger. Where's my little thing? Where's my little friend? To make this chat a little bit larger so I don't have to strain so much. Where's Scooter? Okay. Let me see. Tico says, what a coincidence for Brown University to take down Mustafa's student profile. What is that? Is Tico, is that who they're talking about that someone's saying? Is it, I'm confused. Are you okay, I've obviously missed something. I've obviously missed something. I don't understand why they didn't put the Christmas music on. That's not right. We were cheated. Give us our Christmas music. I know, that sucks. Why isn't it doing it? Okay. So, let's see. Volume's good. Yeah, but they should give us Christmas music when his super chat comes in. He used to do that. We couldn't get the Christmas music off. Okay, now. We live in West New York State on a farm and are beekeepers. Do you know my sister? Is your first name begin with the letter C? I think that's what her name was. I think that's what her name began with. The bee lady, because somehow I met the bee lady. I think it was on Facebook or something. And then she was a friend of my sister's. And then I don't know why I connected to you all the time. Does your first name, I feel like I'm playing charades. Do you have a first name that begins with the letter C? Because I don't know if that was the bee lady. I'm going to have to look that up. Our son and his family live in Jacksonville, Florida. Which is about 50 miles away from what? You just said you lived in... Didn't you just say you lived in New York State? Or am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Students can commute to Brown University. One of my younger brothers went there for engineering. Yeah, students can commute to almost any university, right? Yeah. Hey, we live in West New York State on a farm. Yeah, right. Okay. Let me see. Nope. Wait, who said nope? Somebody said nope. I'm on several resellers auctions selling live. We have a huge community and lots of fun. Okay, so, but I don't know why I keep putting you with that bee lady, because I did meet a bee lady who's a friend of my sister's from ages ago. And you probably know her if you're like in some community where you're a bunch of beekeepers, because I think she's in New York State too. But I'm trying to remember if I connected with her on Facebook, but she has a name like that. And that's why I always get so confused. How come you never come to our sales, bee lady? That's not nice. Let me see. I don't know what's up with my... I feel like I have a piece of glue on my hand. Okay. does she have a channel name? I'm going to have to see if it was Facebook. I'll find her name. I'll find it, gosh darn it. Yeah, you don't like us? That's not nice. That's not nice. Your son lives in Jacksonville, Florida with his family. It's not nice, B-lady. Okay. But we picked up a mobile home on 2 acres and 4 miles from our daughter's family here in Florida before the prices went up close to grandchildren. Oh, so you go to Florida too? Are you snowbirds? Okay, so let's go and talk about pop music. No. You're snowbirds? That's nice. That's nice. Okay. So why is that person a suspect? And I don't know what Tico's talking about. Is Tico talking about something that the Attorney General just said about someone saying someone is something, and Tico. Ouch. I've hurt my thumb. Oh, it's on social media? Yeah, but isn't that what he just said not to do? You're trying to get me in trouble there, Teeks? Let me go take a look-see at it, okay? They used to play that when we went roller skating. Okay. Let me see. I don't know what I just did to my little... I wonder if Brown's University admissions numbers will go down. I don't think so. I mean, it can happen anywhere. You know, it can happen absolutely anywhere. Okay, Tico. All right, Tico. All right, Tico. But if that was so, Tico, and that's who it is, wouldn't they be able to get him really quickly? Right? Because they'd have an identity if that was the case. You have to go in the way back machine. The way back machine. Way back machine. You know what the way back machine is? I cannot get this song out of my head. Okay, not the pop music song, another one. Oh, there's no photo. But it wouldn't make sense, because if that was, they know who it is, and they would. It doesn't make sense. I have no photo to see anything. I just have a name, and the name, there's many people with that name, but I do see somebody at that university back in 2023, but no photo. And it wouldn't make sense, though. If that was a person, they would know who it is, though. There are high schools that handle situations like this better, yes. They just look clueless in what they're doing, yes, and they sound like they're talking to a bunch of kindergarten students. Like, you see that person is doing, that's called casing, children. Can we say casing? That's casing a crime scene. Now, who can tell me, what does it mean to case a crime scene? That's what it sounds like. I mean, it's ridiculous. We are working very hard. Please. We need patience, and we need more people to have had cameras along that way, because, guys, that's residential, okay? Once they step out of that door, they're off the campus, and it shouldn't be Brown University's issue about having cameras on the outside of that building. We were counting on the residents to have these Ring cameras and other kinds of outdoor cameras. What is wrong with you people that you don't have them? And why are your cameras such poor quality? Come on. Students are paying upwards of $70,000 a year to go here. We're going to need you to have better cameras. This is ridiculous. And it's going to be a pop quiz on casing again. So ridiculous. That's what they said, B-Lady. That's what they said. They said that people are saying, why didn't the university have more cameras? And it's because they just stepped out and then into a residential area. Just like passing the buck, right? My goodness. They should have cameras every 5 feet. Absolutely. I don't know. I don't know if their admission numbers will really drop. People forget about things, and if they really want to go there, they'll go there. Some people, I think, will treat it maybe like you know how some people used to say they'll fly right after a plane crash because they somehow feel safer? Not anymore, because there are so many that are going back to back to back. But it used to be that if there was a major plane crash, there were some people that say, oh, I'm good to fly now, because they didn't think there would be another major plane crash. Remember that kind of feeling? So maybe some people feel, okay, the Brown University had their shooting. Now they're going to get their stuff together, and it's going to be safer. Yeah, and the building's old. So they don't update, yeah, they don't update their campus buildings, absolutely. All the money, I don't know. Their salaries and things. Okay, so is it going to be another day of tomorrow is going to be 5 days. It's going to be the 5th day of the manhunt. Is the shooter among them? Who knows? Seem to have some good information about the school and everything, right? Let's see what they're saying. Let's see what people are saying. Let's see what the people, let's listen to the people. Let's listen to the people. Let the people speak. Let me see. Alrighty. Okay, let's see what the people are saying. Okay, I don't agree with there's a picture circulating on there and saying that shooter identified with a question mark, putting someone's picture out there. I think that may be why they're taking it down, because someone's being profiled and someone could have something really bad happen to them. And if that truly was the person, they would know who it is, and they wouldn't have to take his profile down. They would just arrest that person. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. I don't agree with that. That can get someone hurt. To put someone's name out there and say something like that. It's not going to come from here. I'm not, if I read a name, I am not agreeing with anything with that. I won't do that. I won't put someone's name out there like that. So that's not for me. Okay, here we go. So here they're showing the part of Brown University's academic building where the gunman opened fire. Let's see, didn't have cameras because of the structure's age, officials said, despite the official residence of the school president being older and appearing to be equipped with video monitoring. So this is the residence of the school president with cameras. So why does it matter with age, right? Okay, let's see what people are saying. So they say it's a 3-ring circus at the news conference. If that's the case, the person who did this knew there were no cameras in that specific spot. Witnesses, including the teaching assistant who was interviewed, said it was a big, long gun. No, they didn't say that. They did not say, big, long gun. The teaching assistant said the word rifle. Rifle. And I don't know of any other. You've got to really be careful. There's so much misinformation out there. He knew the doors were unlocked too. Definitely seems like someone who goes to school there or works there. Let's see. It's worth it to have a. Unfortunately, I don't know what they're even saying. So the gunman just teleported to that very spot. It's rather common to replace and update existing security cameras and leave the older ones in place. Most businesses won't spring for the extra cash to remove the old cameras. Plus, it fills a hole on the wall or a soffit. What is she even talking about? Oh my goodness. Someone said, I live in Rhode Island and the math isn't mathing. Something is off. Time will tell, I guess. There's not a lot adding up. The question is, will there be truthful answers? Someone says, not everywhere has to have surveillance cameras. It's not a law to have cameras. The least amount of cameras sometimes is better, but in circumstances like this, people want cameras. So what the H does people want in society? Cameras to be everywhere and honest at all times, or do we want less cameras? Some people think cameras invade too many people's privacy and their freedoms, but then when tragic events happen, people want cameras. Not everybody has cameras and Ring doorbells, and you don't have to. There's no law. Okay, this is ridiculous. Question, comment. Oh my goodness. Seems like a 4-camera bundle from Blink on Amazon would outdo what Brown has invested in. Aren't there cameras that capture the building from a distance that are still close enough to see the people around the area? Okay, how interesting they use the building for the study group. What? All right, let's see now. This is sounding fishy. All right, so yeah, kind of ridiculous there, right? All right. All right, so someone says, so the Brown University shooter walked right up to that teaching assistant, looked him in the face, walked by him and started shooting. The girl who was on the campus, she was also shot in the face and multiple times. There's a couple of reasons why. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. That's got to watch what some of these people are saying. All right. Oh, that's terrible. You know, if someone. Yeah, that's terrible. They're actually probably posturing to have someone really hurt by doing this. I won't be a party to this. Looks like they're even manipulating the images and trying to merge the pictures because they don't look like that in any other picture. They've put glasses on someone's face where they didn't have glasses, where you couldn't see them like this. That's wrong. That's wrong, and you know it's wrong. And if it was somebody in your family that they were targeting, You wouldn't want that. You really wouldn't. I won't be a party to it. I will not, and I don't care if you want to leave because I don't. I will not be a party to that. I'm not going to put somebody in a witch hunt. Sorry, I won't do it. If that was a person, the fact that they're removing their name and everything is because they're being targeted. And all it takes is one wacko to go off and kill someone that has no connection to this at all. So I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry, guys. What's that?
I heard something make you snap.
Okay. If he walked by the assistant, would it make it a targeted attack? No, that's a different thing, B-Lady. What they were saying there, what that person was saying in the comment there about that they walked right past the teaching assistant and went and killed the girl, yes, they said that she would have been targeted, yet the police are saying it wasn't targeted on the two people that were killed. Okay, so that's that. It should be prime objective. It should be the best in the nation. It should be. It's totally, it's not adequate. No, I'm talking about there's posts on like Facebook and stuff putting a student's face out there and altering the images to make it look like that person. And you can see clearly the image has been altered. And that is a dangerous thing. Hello, White Angel. Hi, One Eye. How are you? Margaret says people are paying so much for the kids to go to school there. They should have some good quality cameras. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Hold on, I'm just trying to get something here. Okay, let me see. Yeah, it's nuts. I just don't understand why they did not have a better surveillance system. Where are the university police? Because where are the university police? I want to know that. Where are the university police? They had two emergency systems. One was setting off sirens, and the other one was what? Sending emails and alerts. Hi, Blues. How are you? Yeah, it's ridiculous. And who this is could be anyone. Could be a member of the staff. It could be academic faculty. Could be someone in the area. They say that this is right in the residential area. Could be anybody in that residential area as well that could be very familiar with these buildings, especially if they're able to walk right in and out of them. You know, it's very Just crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And what was I going to say? On the road again. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's see what else people are saying over here. And there was something else I wanted to check out. Whew. A 55-pound incinerator reportedly found in David with a Fours. Former Hollywood Hills rental home. Oh, I have news for members. I finished the Murdaugh book. So we're going to be having a members live probably Thursday or Friday to discuss from the last chapter that I read. And I tell you that these last few chapters were full of really very juicy details. Let me do this. Hold on, let me get rid of this. Okay, yeah. So this book right here, Inside the House of Murdaugh, written by Blanca. I have finished it. I just have to read the addendum, which I'll do later tonight, and the acknowledgments here. So we'll be doing another members live on this. So if you're not a member, this is some of the things you can be invited to attend. Would be special members lives, like where I discuss the book like this, or movie nights, things like that. So being a member is a great way to support the channel, and there's different tiers. Lowest tier is way lower than a cup of coffee, and that's a membership for a whole month, $1.99. And if you want to support the channel more, there's other tiers, and you can do that, and it's all very appreciated. And like I said, we have member perks, so maybe you want to consider doing that, and we're very appreciative of that. And I thought your birthday was in January, White Angel. Your birthday is today on the 17th. That's my nephew's birthday. Is your birthday on the 17th? Happy birthday, and many happy returns of the day. So, yeah. It's a terrible situation, and if it's, but the two people that were killed are very different people. They're different, they're male and a female. They're different, obviously. in many ways. So it doesn't seem like if it was targeted for something, unless, I don't know, doesn't seem the university was targeted, but I'm not sure if the people were. I'm not sure why people are reporting a rifle when they're saying there wasn't a rifle. It's crazy. Oh, December 16th. They were 18 and 19, just babies. Yeah, absolutely. A freshman and a sophomore. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you feel bad, Margaret says, for the families who lost their children and then the ones that are wounded. This is just ridiculous. Yeah, it is, right? It is. And imagine these parents saying, my gosh, we paid $70,000 a year to have our children attend this university, and you couldn't even protect them with cameras. You couldn't even protect them or keep them safe. And you can't even find the person that did this because you didn't have the technology to do that. And you're passing the buck off to all of these other people, these residents that should have had cameras and have patience and, you know. Please. It's, but that's how it is so many times with this country. It is. It's always after the fact, and then it doesn't even work. Okay, let's say there's a school shooting in a high school. Oh, well, we should have these procedures in place. So then they have that tragedy, then they'll put some procedures in place, but then you think it would be throughout the United States, right? But no, it isn't. Even in the same state, there'll be other high schools that still don't have those protocols because they'll just wait until something happens and then fix it. It's the way it works. It's an infuriating thing. It's the way that things happen here, and all the shoulda, woulda, coulda's. Oh, you think anything will happen? Oh, it probably won't happen. No, I just no. Until it does. And then it's, oh, we should have done something. It's always, too late. Too little, too late. But that's the way it goes. Like buses, right? Buses in the city. There's no security to get on a bus. You know that, right? To get on an MTA bus, to get on public transportation in New York City, there's zero security. Okay, you don't go through a metal detector. You don't go through anything. To get on the subway, where someone could go in there and do unbelievable damage. What kind of security do you go through to go on the subway? It's actually just amazing that more tragic things have not happened. This is so crazy. Thank you, Blues. Thank you for being a Deputy Rambler. This case couldn't be more heartbreaking. And thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. Well, we're at 3 of our goal. Yay, maybe we'll make our goal tonight. The way the world is now, every college should have high duty cameras to protect your children, even the little schools. Yeah, it should. It's not going to happen though. It's not. That's just the way it is. Just the way it is. There's a lot of schools that can't even fund, programs and things. So you would think, but what was the thing that just said something to Luke about something, and I said, oh my gosh, the school taxes we pay, and I said something about something, I can't think of what it was now. Can't think of it. Something. Thank you, Twisted. Thank you for being a member for 2 months. This group is fantastic. Bet. Fantastic AF. It's just it's just really infuriating, this whole thing, and just a lot of this stuff is so infuriating. And I think people are on the edge of their seats with a lot of things, like just like what's next. People are just, I don't know. There's been so many things happening. I understand, like, okay, Rob Reiner and his wife, that's from a family issue, okay? That's nothing that is connected to what's going on. It's just horrific that it's happening at the same time. And then you have whatever happened in Harvard. And then, hey, thank you, Twisted. Thank you so much. Look, we've got 4 of our 5. We're going to maybe meet our goal tonight. Good night, B-Lady. You have to finish some chores. All right. Take care. Be safe. Hey, B-Lady, you don't go to the... You don't go to the Sheep and Wool Festival, do you? Did I buy my honey from you? No, I didn't. I think I have the card. Do you go up to the Sheep and Wool Festival? Because that lady up there, she sold vanilla honey. Do you have orange blossom honey? Probably not, right? The lady said she did, but she ran out of it. Do you have orange blossom honey? If you do have orange blossom honey, can you hit me up? She told me she had some when she went to the festival, but that it goes really fast and that you have to have the orange blossoms to have it, but it's very hard to find. You must know that, I'm sure, but I did buy vanilla honey. Snitches get stitches, but ramblers get riches. Ah. That's your favorite? You get it when you go to Jacksonville? Yeah, down in Florida, right? Thanks, Blues. So I don't know. That's just a lot of craziness. I was seeing if B Lady Apiary was going to answer me. But, okay, so what else is going on? So what was who shot the Harvard? Let's see who shot. Was it Harvard? Am I right? MIT professor, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. What am I doing today? I'm really losing my mind. Okay. First I thought the Hampton Inn. I got that one cross-referenced. And now Harvard instead of MIT. Come on, stop it. All right, let's see here. MIT professor is fatally shot. Come on. The professor Nuno Lorio. Hold on, this is so small that I need scooters like any bigger. It says there's no information identifying who fatally shot the MIT professor in his home on December 15th. The suspect is at large. Authorities are conducting an active homicide investigation. It should be noted that a separate incident in October of 2025 involving a visiting Harvard law professor, Carlos Portugal Gouveia, who was arrested for firing a pellet gun outside a synagogue, an incident that Department of Homeland Security labeled anti-Semitic. Okay, he agreed to voluntarily leave the U.S. rather than face deportation. Okay, well, but what? All right. Authorities launch homicide investigation after the MIT professor was fatally shot at home. So they don't know who that is either. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Well, how would they know that they're not connected? I mean, I don't know. Unless they have surveillance, yeah, who knows? I don't know. Whatever they're telling us, who knows? Yeah, I don't know. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And then there was another school. Let's see something. Nuclear science professor. Winter weather warning issued as 20 inches of snow and 80-mile-an-hour winds approach. Rob and Michele Reiner's daughter Romy called brother Nick her best friend years before. Common chemicals from food additives to pesticides may be wrecking your gut health. What's this about? The University of Idaho family fights new project. What new project are they fighting? Well, they're trying to stop a Lifetime movie. Unfortunately, I think the only Lifetime movie, one of the ones that was ever really accurate, was Dirty Little Secret for Jodi Arias, which was very accurate and didn't go into like some sensationalism. The one they did with Chris Watts was ridiculous, okay? Where they kept doing that thing where like he'd slap on a patch and then work out as if it was like steroids and that he had roid rage and that's why he did it. That was ridiculous, but it went on. The family didn't want that, and unfortunately that's the way these things work. Yeah, so I doubt they'll be able to stop it because look at all the other movies they made about true crime cases, right? That didn't deal with facts, that dealt with just sensationalism and stuff like that. Let's see what they're saying. Said a woman was leaving razor blades and loaves of bread at a Walmart store. Let's see what they just said. Suspect charged in a grisly murder of a 93-year-old military veteran found stabbed to death in his home. Unbelievable. Trying to get to where two middle school girls disappeared from a basketball game. Oh yeah, MIT nuclear science professor shot and killed inside his home. How do they not know who this is? Let's see. Horrible. I knew that was going to do that. I think I'm probably going to have to get a new computer. This one is... I've been making it last. It's been since 2019, but it's really given me one issue after another now. And what is going on, why it will not put up a picture. There we go. My goodness. So annoying. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so the Massachusetts Institute of Technology nuclear science professor was shot and killed inside his Massachusetts home on Monday night. Nuno Lorero, I don't know how to I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry. It doesn't. Somebody, you said, Tico, that he's Jewish. It doesn't look like a Jewish last name, but you're saying that. I don't know. Maybe okay. I don't know where you see that, but okay. He was found with multiple gunshot wounds after police responded to reports of a shooting at a Brookline residence at 8:30 p.m. Monday. Let's see. He was rushed to the hospital following the incident, but he died Tuesday morning. Investigators have not released details about a suspect or a motive, and the circumstances surrounding the shooting remain under investigation. He was a professor in MIT's Nuclear Science and Engineering and Physics Department. He served as the director of the university's Plasma Science and Fusion Center. In a statement, an MIT spokesperson expressed condolences to his family and colleagues, telling the Post, "Our deepest sympathies are with his family, students, colleagues, and all of those who are grieving." The university added that support services are being made available to students and staff grappling with the sudden loss of the professor. Okay, so what is this? All right. So Anna Kepner, they still have not arrested anybody in her death. What else have they not done? Let's see. Jury reaches a verdict in St. Lucie DUI manslaughter case involving an ATV. Two arrested in Times Square murder. Oh boy. All right, here's something. Hold on a minute. Here's something more about Rob Reiner. Let's see. Rob Reiner's friend details staying in his home with Nick Reiner and family weeks before the murder. I thought they were going to say Barry Manilow. Barry Markowitz said he stayed at Rob and Michele Reiner's home weeks before they were killed, noting that their son Nick was on the upswing. He was on the upswing. He recalls saying he saw the 32-year-old son. Hang on a minute. Just popped up an ad here. Nick, who looked great. He was sitting and talking with the family. They ate dinner together, old school, and always a lot of love. Barry recalled Nick going out to play tennis and basketball during his stay, but he says he never feared for his safety and that Nick was very present, taking out the garbage, washing dishes, even watching TV with the family. I think that's what puzzling the most, the 360. There was so much love. It doesn't jive. I'm not here to judge anyone. Love is the only thing I saw, and I don't think it was fake. They had a real bond. Rob and Michele never gave up on Nick during his very public battle with drug addiction. Barry said, adding they tried a million things, not giving him money, but sending him to the top of the line places. Rob never gave up. He tried everything. If you knew Rob, he was just a bundle of love. Okay. So, that's... All right, and let's see, we already went about that. Every time he picks her up from work. All right. When did that happen? Jewish man choked on New York City subway. Wow. Did that just happen? Crazy. World's gone crazy. All right, let me go to one other thing, and then I think, let me see here. Oh my goodness gracious. What is going on? This is nutso, huh? Crazy. I don't know what the heck is going on with this computer. Let me see if I can shut that down. I can't. Okay. All right, let's see. There's one other thing before we go to... Oh boy. They said a TV sports reporter and her husband found dead in their home in an apparent murder-suicide. 3-year-old was unharmed. So whoever did that decided that leaving the 3-year-old without her parents is the right thing to do rather than not taking their own lives at all. Okay, unbelievable. The Hoover Police Department. Let's see, Christina Chambers. An Alabama sports reporter and her husband were found dead inside their home. And whatever happened about the doctor with the twins? He was never arrested either. Oh boy. An Alabama sports reporter and her husband were found dead inside her home on Tuesday, December 16th, in an apparent murder-suicide. 3-year-old child was at the home unharmed. Okay, Hoover fire medics responded to the residents and pronounced a male and a female deceased. They also found a 3-year-old. While their identities were not released, identified the females as its sports reporter Christina Chambers. She was mom to a 3-year-old son. Chambers and her husband married in 2021. So apparently this is her. And it's ridiculous. There we go. Oh, let's see. So it looks like she was the victim. Christina was a source of joy, an inspiration to our team and company. She will be greatly missed. Wow. So that was in Alabama. Oh, wow. What? Man smashes a car with an axe during road rage incident before other driver allegedly steals the man's car. That's a normal reaction, really. Very normal reaction. Dick Van Dyke didn't sleep following the murders of friends Rob and Michele Reiner. His wife, Arlene, says, okay, now they're saying Rob Reiner and his wife were killed in the early morning hours by son Nick, who fled from their home. So yeah, that's, he probably changed his clothes, I would imagine, and then checked into the hotel. But that's what I was figuring, that's what happened. It says, Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office has shared new information on the timeline in the deaths of Rob Reiner and his wife Michele. Let me put that up there so we know we're talking about them again. Okay. LA County District Nathan, in a press conference, said that the 32-year-old Nick is accused of killing his parents. In approximately the early morning hours of December 14th, Reiner is accused of fatally stabbing Rob Reiner, 78, and Michele Reiner, 70. Now they're saying she's 70. They said before she was 68. So she aged 2 years, or they had that wrong. I guess she aged 2 years. Interesting. Isn't that interesting? And that would mean that their 28-year-old daughter was born when she was 42. Okay. Nick fled, but was arrested hours later that evening in Exposition Park. They were not able to confirm the exact time of death, but they're waiting on the coroner to be able to determine that as best they can. So that looks like he checked in, it was already done, and the daughter, it was a long time before she got there. It was with the massage therapist, I think it was 12 hours later, was it? Something of that effect. Used a dangerous and deadly weapon, a knife, and that is a special allegation. Let me see. Okay, Rob Reiner and wife Michele were found dead in their bedroom. This is coming from a source now. Let's see what this says. Rob Reiner and Michele were found dead in their bedroom. They were found where they were murdered. But then how did the daughter only see the father? Was he, so let me see. The couple's son, Nick, is expected to face 2 counts for screw murder. We know that. Again, now they have her at 70 years old. Police said Nick was arrested without incident around 9:15 p.m. on Sunday, around 6 hours after Los Angeles Fire Department said it was called to the Brentwood home. Rob and Michele's cause and time of death have not been made public by authorities. The Hollywood couple had been married since 1989. Together they had 3 children. The comments say. Someone said, I figure at this point his siblings would rather throw Nick to the wolves rather than participate in his defense. So I wonder, in his psychotic state, how can Nick have any sense to hire a lawyer, let alone pick a high-priced attorney? Plus, he doesn't have access to his parents' money, so how could he afford him? That's exactly right what a lot of us have said, including myself, and I'm wondering if that should help his mental health evaluation, if he could not only get a lawyer, but get like probably the best one he could get, right? Somebody said, I really feel for Romy finding her parents murdered. I pray she gets the help and support she needs to minimize the impact of their image. May both of the Reiners rest in peace. So while they were sleeping, it's horrible. I knew he lived with them, and they had an argument because he was acting weird at the party, and they went home, and he did this. Tragic. Family addiction is heartbreaking. Prayers and love for the Reiner family. My mother's an addict, not sure of where she is at or if she is living, but she's got psychosis so bad. That's what someone wrote. I don't believe drug abuse is an excuse, but the picture above of Nick shows that he is a troubled soul behind that sad face. Let's see. I don't want to sound harsh, but we need more psychiatric facilities where people can be locked away and medicated to keep the rest of us safe. I don't know if his sister Romy will ever share, but it sounds to me like the brother was abusive to her as well. You cannot allow one child to disrupt your entire family for decades, especially if they are a threat to their siblings. You cannot reason with, bargain with, or cure someone who has serious substance abuse issues as well as mental illness. There are generally lifelong illnesses. At some point, you have to face reality and save yourself and the rest of your family by protecting yourself and everyone else. It's called tough love, and it's painful but necessary. That means full-time security, a house that is guarded, multiple systems to keep intrusion out. It can go as far as moving away and making sure your relative is unable to find you. you have to assume your relative is dangerous and your life very well could be in danger, and take every precaution you can. I read that the Reiners had a full-time security guard at their gate, but sadly this dangerous son lives inside the house with them. Many commenters noted about the need for lockup at psychiatric hospitals, so it makes me think that the Reiners could have had separate wing added to their house and staffed with private doctors and mental health professionals and a security to watch their unstable son. They could afford all that. At a minimum, have round-the-clock staffing inside their house. I can't imagine being comfortable living inside a 10,000 square foot home and elderly. Even with the famous lawyer, an expensive one, it couldn't save Harvey Weinstein or Kevin Spacey. So what's all this hoopla about this lawyer? I don't get it. All right, let me see what you guys are. What are you saying? Anything? What about the burning bed with Farrah Fawcett? What about the burning bed? Hold on a minute. What about the burning bed? What do you mean, what about the burning bed? What about the burning bed? I was in this city last for Thanksgiving, but there is no security on subways. No, there isn't. Yeah. Okay, so it's 1:29. I've got to go. Ethan and I are doing something tomorrow, so I guess we're going to do the word cookie. And I'll probably do some shorts from the road or something, at least. It's the plan. But you know the plans. Best made plans of mice and men. Okay. Huh. Frazzle. That's good. Down in Frazzle Rock. I know that's Fraggle. I know. Frazzle. Very good. Twisted. That's great. That was an awesome show. That was an awesome show. The Burning Bed. That was about, that wasn't Diane Downs. Was that Diane Downs? No. Was it? No. Was it? Yeah. Or was it The Burning Bed? Oh my gosh, now my computer, what the heck is it doing? It just closed down the whole live chat, like the YouTube, everything. Just closed it down. What the heck? It is really going crazy. Okay, good night, MSL. Thank you. France Hughes. What? France and Hughes? It's not about Diane. Why do I think it's about Diane Downs? Hold on a minute. Oh, Francine Hughes, a Michigan who set her abusive alcoholic husband on fire when he said, why did I think it was Diane Downs? What is going on? But she was in a case, right? She did play in a movie about Diane Downs. I'm really, I better get myself to, I better get myself some memory juice here because I am just like really having a very hard time tonight between the Hampton Inn and what was the other thing, and now this. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, it's Flea. Okay. Okay, we did it. Let me see where you guys are. Okay. All right, well, let me go to bed. I'll probably see you guys on the road sometime tomorrow. Me and the boy. Going on a road trip. Going on a road trip together. All right. I'll see you guys. I'm sure I'll do some shorts from the road. Maybe even a live. I don't know. Watch out for me. Hi, Pet Nanny. Hi, Pet Nanny Nancy. How are you? Razzle dazzle. All right. Love you guys. God bless and prayers. Be good. Oh,